and Paul's excellent adventure, a 4-year voyage while living on a cruise ship.
Until this cruise, I had never heard of Nauwili Willi.
The town, right? On the island of
port
Kauai.
we're at. The port.
Yeah.
What a beautiful backdrop.
But you've heard of the island of Kauai.
Yeah, this is Kauai.
The Garden Island.
Look how beautiful it is. That is just amazing.
Do you know why it's that beautiful? Because right now there's this mist coming down on us.
Yes, it is.
Some would call it rain. We're calling it mist.
And what we always say is, we know why
it's always
so green here. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So it's the Garden State. So we're going to be exploring today, and this will be a very exciting episode for everybody.
It will. We've got a lot planned. This was an overnight trip. We just left Honolulu yesterday. We had a wonderful time in Honolulu.
Well, I forgot to leave out a very important fact in yesterday's things that we did.
Right.
So you saw us playing at the beach.
At Waikiki.
While I was in the water, not with the camera.
No, of course, never with the camera.
The endangered Hawaiian monk seal swam near me.
Hopefully one of them. Hopefully he's not the only one.
Well, hopefully, but I don't know. It was most likely he, because the females don't bring their babies close to population.
When we saw him, we thought it was actually a child or something that's kind of bobbing his head above the water.
Right.
But it was actually a monk seal.
It was
amazing.
A monk seal, Hawaiian monk seal. Adorable animal. Oh my gosh, adorable. It came within, well, if I stretch out my arm, that's where he was. Yeah. That's how close to me he was. Yeah. He pops his head out. He looked at me. But he looked at me. His little eyes. He
was communicating with you,
Lynn. He was
Lynn.
communicating with me. So I feel so blessed that the island, and I guess in Hawaii they said the island gives to you.
And speaking to you.
And speaks to you. So I feel very blessed.
Well, I was in the water too. I was just up in my ankles watching it. So I had a front row seat, and the cameras and phones and everything were back on the blankets.
We were estimating about how big it was.
Yeah.
They get up to 7 feet and 600 pounds.
Oh.
So that was a big animal. But
that was
a very special thing for me and you to see.
Today's going to be a very special tour too. We've never been to this island of Kauai. We've been to most of the other islands.
Explore.
And we're going to explore, but something really cool. We're going to get to take a helicopter tour. And we're bringing you along with us.
That's why I said this is going to be a very exciting episode, right?
So stay with us, stay tuned, and we'll show you some fun stuff. Ready to hit the trail? We're going to get off the boat.
Gotta finish my coffee,
finish your coffee,
and
we'll head out.
Start exploring.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
We'll catch up with you later.
Well, as you might guess, we're up on the top deck of the ship right now. Lynn's on her way up. She's going to join me as we get ready to leave Nauwili Willi and the wonderful island of Kauai. We've had a wonderful day. Lynn's actually unpacking some of the stuff that we got while in port today, and as you can tell behind me, the ship is beginning to spin around and get ready to head back out. We're going to be heading to Maui next, so that'll be really a lot of fun. We've got a lot of things planned. Unfortunately, in Maui, we're just going to be there for a day. Here in Kauai, we were able to be here for 2 days, so we were able to actually stay overnight. And one of the things we were able to do that we like to do when we've got multiple days is be able to actually come off of the ship and actually stay at a hotel or a bed and breakfast or something like that, just to kind of change the pace a little bit. we were really able to meet a lot of neat people while we were here in Kauai, and it turned out to be a pretty special place with a lot of the folks we met. Today we actually took a driving tour of the island, and we'd never done that before. This was an app that can be downloaded, and the app will actually give you step-by-step information as you're driving around the island. It'll start you at a certain point, and then as you make your way around the island, it geolocates where you're at, and then actually gives you information for where we're at, and then guides you as you're going around the island. So we were able to do that and see some incredible views from the car as we were driving around to a lot of the canyons and so forth. So that was kind of neat. Well, it looks like Lynn has made it up, and she's here. We're here to say goodbye. Here, we'll mic you up. Here you go. Get you mic'd up.
I'm sorry, I didn't know I was late to the party.
You're late to the party. You're late to your own birthday party.
I guess. Hey, guys.
Was it a good party? Was it a good birthday? Was it a good
Oh my
party?
gosh, I was just telling our neighbor Marianne and her friend Bernadette that, I couldn't have asked for a better place to celebrate my birthday, and I'm going to cry because
I'm glad.
You've been so sweet. You did
Glad you
so
enjoyed
many
it.
wonderful things for me for my birthday, and the island gave me
and
love.
I haven't told everybody all the things we've done. The only thing I talked about was that today we actually took a driving trip, and it was wonderful. It was an audio trip. We must have spent 3 or 4 hours driving around the island through the canyon, which is Hawaii's Grand Canyon, just beautiful. Looking down into that.
It was every bit as beautiful as the Grand Canyon. You'll see pictures. I can't even explain it to you. I don't have words to explain the beauty. I'm not a poet. I think if I'm not, you have to have kind of that poet spirit or something to describe in detail, in words, what the beauty looks like.
Absolutely.
And the waterfalls, and
I've never seen an island with this many. Now, we've been to Maui, and there were a lot of waterfalls there, granted.
There are tons of waterfalls.
But I couldn't believe the number of waterfalls we saw. And part of that was because yesterday, and we're going to close out the program today showing you some of the video we had, but we were actually yesterday, for part of Lynn's birthday 2-day event, we were able to actually take a helicopter flight.
Yes.
And somebody once told me that there's no better way to see Kauai is to actually do it by air. And we had a pilot that got us right down into the canyons and so forth. Steve
at Safari Helicopter Tours. I don't know. I think they deserve a shout out.
Yeah, they did a great job.
They were fantastic. I was a little apprehensive, right? I took Dramamine before we left.
You did. I was surprised. I found the Dramamine wrapper in the back. I said, Lynn must be a little worried about this helicopter ride.
I was a little worried.
You can tell the sun's kind of coming out because we're actually, the ship is actually spinning around to get ready to head out to sea right now.
If you've ever seen like the Hawaii Five-0 shows, you always see the helicopter going like this.
Looping around.
I was terrified
the Mission Impossible movies, flying under bridges and so forth.
This is what I was terrified of.
Well, we took video of the entire flight, like an hour and a half. Well, at least an hour's worth of video. I've actually taken it and edited it down, and like we did with the dolphins, we actually did a nice collage, put it to some music. We'll make it as a standalone video. We'll also release on our YouTube channel, just so people can just even see that part of it, because the beauty is just spectacular.
Hopefully you can share that experience with us.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was amazing.
You got to realize that this canyon and where the volcanoes are is where they filmed some of the opening scenes from Jurassic Park.
Well, Jurassic Park and Raiders of the Lost Ark
had scenes
and then
in it.
Around this other side near the Nepali coast is a cove, and there's a map that I got for you so you could take a static picture so people can kind of look across
and see where we went.
There's a cove you'll see over by the Nepali coast that's where Pirates of the Caribbean filmed in that cove.
Right.
So yeah, and some of the Hawaii Five-0 TV
Helicopter
shows
scenes
were
there too. Yes.
there too.
So it was really quite amazing. It was an area that a lot of people don't get to see that close up, and I think you'll appreciate it when you actually see the video that we put together.
And maybe
for you.
you've done that, and you can just relive it. Make a comment and tell us what your experience was if you did the same thing and when you did it, because I think everybody's experience is going to be different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oops.
Now, after we got done with the helicopter tour yesterday, I had set up at one of the hotel's resorts reservations for us to spend the night, which is kind of special. I mentioned just a little while ago that sometimes we like to do that. We're fortunate that we get to be in port in a lot of places for 2 or 3 days. So this was one of those examples where we were here for a couple of days and were able to actually stay at a hotel. When we got there, originally we were supposed to see a fire show. And
kind of like a luau kind of thing, but it was supposed to be fire dancers.
Yeah, and with a dinner and so forth, but they had canceled it, I think, because of some of the weather that they'd had earlier in the day.
Yeah, there was a lot of rain.
So
in the morning,
we ended up not doing that, but we talked to the concierge, and she suggested a place to have dinner, and it was absolutely fantastic. It actually looked over a golf course, and there's a ton of golf courses in Kauai, that's for sure.
Golf course on this side, ocean all over here.
Yes, that's right. The ocean just came right up to it. It was really quite spectacular.
We had traditional Mai Tais.
And I had a very traditional Hawaiian ribeye steak. So I just haven't had.
What was it? Aged 46 days or something.
Yeah,
it was delicious.
Aged 20 years, I think.
No, it was like 46
that was the bourbon.
days.
We had Mai Tais though.
Yeah, we had Mai Tais. I had to have a traditional Mai Tai on my birthday.
Right. And they brought out a nice.
So we got pictures of those.
And a beautiful lava cake that they built for you for your birthday.
Chocolate lava cake. So they just brought me a scoop of vanilla, this chocolate lava cake that was beautifully presented. It
was really special.
And our server, Matt, he was just delightful.
Yeah.
Showed us so much love.
We
just need a big hug to give to this
everybody.
island. Yeah.
Let's go over to the railing so we can show everybody what we're seeing as we leave
Go to
here.
this side. It's prettier.
Well, we probably should. It really is quite beautiful. But we're just leaving port now, and you can see the beautiful mountains that they have here. Very green in their appearance.
Over this direction is that range of mountains that we were in.
Yes.
That we were talking about.
Over to our right
and you
there.
can see there's a ton of clouds up there right now.
We're getting a little bit of wind here, as you can probably tell, but it's absolutely beautiful. You just seeing the water ripple and the waves up against the mountains there. What a beautiful time. So we'll kind of leave you with this picture here, but we want to show you the video from our tour by helicopter of the island. So let's go straight into that. All right. See you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Hello. Oh my goodness. So this is incredible.
What a fabulous spot. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
Topography here is just really something.
And this is all protected land.
Yeah, privately owned.
Very, well, privately, I bet it's like a foundation or, you know, some type of thing. 150 miles of land that is preserved.
Our pilot just told us that the land was actually given to a family. Well, was acquired by a family who promised the king that he would take good care of it, and it's been passed down.
Elizabeth Sinclair.
Yeah, the current owner is taking care of it, and he's even had offers to sell it and hasn't sold it.
See the waterfall out in the distance?
And that's something.
One of the highest peaks is here in this valley, and you can see it's behind the clouds.
Yeah.
But it gets 700 inches a year.
It's amazing.
So hence the beautiful waterfall.
Does it ever get tired coming up here to see it?
No, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, if I didn't fly, I would be hiking around here anyway, but we have access to the, you know, it's just so incredible. And when I heard you mention the 700 inches, it's at the end of this canyon, not the next canyon. This one actually does go up to the geographical center of the island.
Oh, okay.
So the 700 is hiding up there. And this valley, excuse me, it's not a valley, it's a canyon, was carved from the runoff from Waiala'i.
Oh, look at this. Wow.
Oh, you're fine.
Well, you can refer to it all. There's 5 canyons here.
Oh, okay.
And you can, in some cases, both sides of it have the same name. And in other cases, the shelf has one name. So that shelf is the Waimea Shelf.
Okay.
This section is where Jurassic Park was filmed, and this is called Olokele. There's also Waiala'i, Kauai, and Po'omau.